Good day, everyone. I welcome you all to the advanced season of the Masterclass series. This season, we are exploring all the fascinating features of ServiceDesk Plus to notch up your ITSM journey. In the first episode, we spoke about building dynamic templates to capture the right details. Today, we'll understand how you can craft powerful and no code automations to revitalize your ITSM engine. I am Nisha Ravi and I'll be your trainer today. Here is a rundown of today's agenda. We'll find out how you can set up powerful and robust automations to perform various service desk functions. So, to name a few, we'll see how you can set service level targets and automate priority assignment, and how you can configure different criteria based actions, and how you can ensure that technicians are available automatically and continuously, and how you can plan multiple changes without any collision, and we'll also explore how you can streamline the communication process between different stakeholders, and how you can systematize all your ITSM practices. And finally, we'll also be looking at automating various actions and predicting parameters using artificial intelligence capabilities. Now, Zilker is a fictitious company which I'll be using to explain today's use case. So today, Zilker is a fast-growing e-commerce company, and we know the story behind the e-commerce boom, right? And just when the pandemic came in, it accelerated digital transformation, it popularized contactless delivery of services, and so on. So to cater to this growing demand, Zilker decided to go on a hiring spree. And after the pandemic receded, like most of the organizations in the world, Zilker also embraced the hybrid work model. And to capitalize on the upcoming festive season, Zilker planned to organize a festive season sale on its e commerce website. And to ensure that everything goes as planned and everything is executed in a smooth manner, Zilker wanted to upgrade both their web servers and operating systems at the same time. But they could not handle multiple changes simultaneously, and this resulted in a chaotic change process. And naturally, this led to a major website outage. Now, why did this happen? This is because Zilker relied on a primitive ticketing tool that lacked any automation capabilities. So, when thousands of incidents reporting this major website outage came to Zilker's service desk, all their technicians had to manage various ITSM practices manually, and this resulted in a prolonged website downtime. And also, it led to unsatisfactory user experience. So it's so undesirable to let the brand reputation and the profitability of Zilker to go down, right? And you would not want that to happen generally. So we saw that Zilker was using a primitive ticketing tool without any automations, right? So let's see the challenges that Zilker faced. They were unable to resolve all their tickets quickly, and this is because they could not estimate the gravity of their incoming tickets. So, as a result, the right priority was not assigned. And Zilker also lacked a textbook process to handle all their incoming tickets. For example, all the tickets that came to Zilker's service desk, they had to be matched to the relevant templates in a manual manner, and this led to a lot of inconsistencies. And we saw that Zilker faced this website outage during the festive season sale, right? And it was a holiday, and many of Zilker's technicians were on leave. And the worst part is that Zilker was not able to keep a track on those technicians who were available, and they could not route all their incoming tickets to expert technicians. Further, Zilker could not compartmentalize any of their change processes. So when they tried to execute different changes like, their web server upgrade or their changes to their operating systems, everything went haywire and their website went down. Also, Zilker stakeholders could not receive automated updates, so their requesters were unaware whenever a technician was assigned to handle their tickets. And the technicians also had to close all their tickets manually. Finally, Zilker could not streamline any of their ITSM practices. For example, if Zilker had to execute a change process, they could not check whether a backup plan was in place to minimize any risk associated with the change. We saw all the roadblocks that Zilker faced, right? So let's explore the benefits that Zilker could gain if it had to use automations. They could have easily resolved all their tickets on time and gauge the ticket parameters automatically, so the right values for both priority and SLAs would automatically kick in. Further, Zilker could ensure uniformity in handling various tickets, and this would be based on predefined criteria. So, when the hiring manager raised an onboarding request, the task would be generated automatically. Further, Zilker could track the availability of their technicians and ensure that backstop arrangements are placed, and they could also use different algorithms to assign technicians. Further, Zilker could configure specific change windows to ensure that multiple change processes are executed in a synchronous manner, and this would also prevent any kind of spillover of one change process on another. Further, Zilker could also keep all their stakeholders informed in an instantaneous manner. Imagine how convenient it would be for an end user in Zilker to keep a tab on the approval status of various requests, right? And also, Zilker's technicians could ensure that all the tickets were closed in an automated manner. Further, Zilker could systematize all of their ITSM practices across the ticket governance process. For example, when Zilker was executing multiple changes at the same time, they could examine whether a checklist was in place to minimize the risk associated with multiple changes. So far we've seen that Zilker has suffered a major website outage, and this was caused due to unorganized change process and due to executing multiple changes at the same time. And also they were limited by the capabilities of a basic ticketing tool, right? Now Zilker could have easily overcome all these challenges using smart automations, and none of these automations require any kind of technical expertise to set them up. So, first, we'll explore how Zilker could handle this major website outage incident and also address the discordant change process that caused this incident. So, first up, we have the priority matrix and SLA. We saw that Zilker was not able to resolve their incidents quickly, right? And this was because they failed to capture the severity of the issue. So let's explore how Zilker was able to automatically assess the importance of their incoming tickets and achieve their targets and deadlines right on time. So right now, I'm in the self-service portal and I'm logged in as the end user. I can report an issue right here. I can raise a service request here, and I can also browse the knowledge base right here. So because I'm facing the website outage issue, let me report the issue here. I see that there are a lot of incident templates to report different kinds of issues. So I can report a VPN issue, a printer issue, and so on. So by clicking on the website issue template, let me fill in the necessary details. And I'm going ahead and submitting the ticket. Now, when I view the details of the ticket, I see that the priority has been set automatically, and I also knew the due by date by which my incident will be resolved. So, this basically sets the expectations for the end users, right? And let me say that I'm the hiring manager and I would like to onboard a new employee. So, I'm going to raise an onboarding request right now. Now, this is the service catalog of Zilker, and it offers a variety of services to its end users. So I can raise a request for a laptop or for internet access and so on. So let me click on user management. And by going to my onboarding template, I see that the SLA is visible on the right hand side of the form. So SLA is basically the time required to fulfill and complete the delivery of different services, and it sets the expectations for both the end users as well as the technicians. So let me say that as Zilker is has embraced the hybrid work model. Let me say that my new employee is also working on a hybrid mode. So let me choose the preferred SLA, and I'm going with the hybrid employee SLA. Now, when I choose the hybrid employee SLA, the associated time limit has also changed. So, with Service Desk Plus, I can choose the desired and preferred SLA according to my business needs. So, let me just raise that request again. So, I'm going to the onboarding template. I'm choosing the preferred SLA and I'm raising the request. So we saw how easy it is for the end user to report both the incident as well as the onboarding request using the same self-service portal. Now I was able to see the values for the priority and the SLAs, and all of them were assigned automatically. So let's see how all these automations work from the back end. Right now I'm in the technician view, and under setup we can go to customization and click on help desk. Now, this is the priority matrix. Using the priority matrix, you can assign values for the priority in an automatic manner. You can consider the values for both impact and urgency. Let's say if my impact is affects business and the urgency is emergency, my priority would be of a major incident. I can also allow requesters and technicians to override the values assigned by priority matrix. And usually, it is best practice not to allow your end users to decide the priority for all their issues, right? And this is because all their issues would be of high priority for them, and this would flood the service desk with a lot of high priority tickets. So, as an end user, we also saw that the SLA was assigned automatically, right? So, let's see how we can set that up. So, under setup, you can go to automations and click on SLAs. So you can set SLA for both incidents as well as services. So let me open the incident SLA for the website outage issue. You can configure SLAs for different sites across your organization. And you can also set conditions for which this particular SLA should kick in. So, if the template is the website issue or if the priority is of a major incident, then this SLA would apply automatically. I can also configure different response times and resolution times. I can also factor in the operational hours. So, when Zilker faced this major website outage issue, it occurred during the festive holiday season, right? So you can include both holidays as well as weekends. And let's say if my response time has been breached, or if my resolution time has been breached, I can set up different levels of escalation. So for response time, I can set up to one level of escalation, and for resolution time, I can set up to four levels of escalation. And I can escalate the ticket both reactively as well as proactively. And I can escalate every ticket to different stakeholders. So I can choose individual organizational roles, and I can also loop in different technicians. So upon escalation, I can also send notifications and perform field updates. So let me open the notification that I have configured. So you can choose to notify different stakeholders by choosing any organizational role, by looping in your technicians, requesters, and so on. I can also send an email or an SMS notification. I can create a custom subject for my notification, and I can also draft a custom message for that. And using the dollar variable, a dollar symbol, I can append any of the ticket parameters. So let's say I would like to append the category. So just by typing the dollar symbol, I can choose the respective ticket parameter, and that value would be called right here. So it is that easy and that simple to customize your notifications and inform all your stakeholders in a timely manner. And you can also perform field updates upon escalation. So if the ticket is escalated, I can route this ticket to a technician named Fred Frank, and I can also update the level of the ticket. So you can update different parameters of your ticket. And we are talking about service SLAs. Service SLAs are similar to incident SLAs. And let me just highlight the unique features of service SLAs. You can associate service SLAs to different service templates. So by clicking on associate, you can select the template from this drop down list, and you can choose to make this SLA as the default one, or you can associate this SLA to different user groups. And we also saw that the hiring manager was able to choose the desired SLA according to their requirements, right? So you can do that by going to setup and going to advanced portal settings. So here you can use both condition based SLA, you can choose to go with the user selected SLA, or you can use both of them simultaneously. So coming back, we saw how Zilker was able to resolve different incidents right on time by assigning a priority automatically, by setting the response times and resolution times, by sending out timely notifications, by performing field updates, and so on. Next up, we have the business rules and triggers. So we saw that Zilker struggled to maintain consistency across different ITSM practices, right? And this is because they lacked predefined rules. So let's see how Zilker was able to handle all their tickets in an orderly manner, and how they could perform different actions according to the context. So right now I'm in the technician view, and let me take you to the request module. Now, this is the ticket that the end user raised to report the website outage issue. Now, this is my ticket workspace. Now, if I go to the details tab, I see that all the details of the ticket have been captured automatically. So I get an idea of the impact, the urgency, the priority values, and the technician who's going to work on my ticket, the SLA associated with the incident, and the template which has been used to create this ticket, and so on. And the right hand side of my ticket workspace gives me a gist of the ticket details. And further, let me take you to the end user's perspective. Now, this is the inbox of my end user. So when the end user raised this incident, I saw that the end user is immediately notified of the major incident. And talking about email notifications, let's say that Zilker has published an organization wide announcement saying that the major website issue has occurred and their technicians are working on it. But as the end user, I'm unaware of that, and I'm going to go ahead to the self service portal and report this incident. So, this is the self service portal, and let me report this website outage issue again. Now, because I'm unable to access the service, I'm opening that template, and I see that all the fields are pretty much pre filled, and I'm submitting the ticket. Now, as I try to do that, the ticket creation process has been aborted, and there is an announcement on the top of my screen which says that Zilka's technicians are working on it, and I can contact their helpline for any other assistance. So, this is how Zilker was able to prevent the creation of unnecessary tickets and help the technicians focus on mission critical tasks. Now, let us go back to the technician view. And going back to the request module, let us open the onboarding request that the hiring manager had raised. Now, going to the task tab, we see that all the tasks required to onboard the employee have been generated automatically. Imagine that Zilker is hiring thousands of employees on a regular basis, and it would be a daunting task for Zilker's technicians to keep creating these tasks repetitively again and again, right? So this would save a lot of time for Zilker's technicians if it had to manage all these operations in an automatic way. So let's see how Zilker achieved all these automations right now. So by going to setup, you can go to automations and click on business rules. You can set business rules for both incidents as well as services. So let me open the business rule for the website outage issue. Business rules are basically condition based actions, and you can set business rules for different sites across your organization. So, you can execute this business rule when a request is created, edited, or deleted. And you can also factor in the operational hours, and this is just like an SLA. And you can create different conditions to execute the business rule. And you can also use custom functions to create different conditions according to your requirements. And if the conditions are matched, you can perform different kinds of actions. So you can send out timely notifications, you can execute custom functions, and you can also perform timely field updates. So here, whenever the website outage issue is reported to the service desk, I can match the incident to the website issue template, and I can assign this incident to a particular technician, Emma, who will be working on the website outage issue. And I can also loop in the right technician group to work on it. And using business rules, I can also choose to alert all the stakeholders in a timely manner. So let me just edit this notification to show you that. Similar to the SLA notifications, I can send this notification as an email or an SMS. I can also notify different organizational roles, the individual request users, the technicians, the requesters, and so on. I can also draft a custom message for my notification, and I can give it the subject, I can give it an apt subject, and use the dollar variable to append the different ticket parameters, and so on. So, this is similar to your SLA notification configuration. So, using business rules, you can send out timely updates and keep your end users informed. And you can also execute custom functions. Let's say that when thousands of incidents are pouring into your service desk, you can alert your technicians automatically, and you can do this by executing a custom function and notifying your technicians on a channel which is present on the Microsoft Teams platform. So this is how you can make the full and best use of business rules. And we also saw that Zilker was able to prevent the creation of unnecessary tickets, right? So let's see how you can set that up. You have a feature under the actions section where you can enable the abortion of process execution. So when you select this option, you can give a custom message, and this message would be displayed to all your end users whenever they try to create a ticket on the self-service portal. So this is how Zilker was able to prevent the creation of unnecessary tickets. Now, we also saw that when the hiring manager was raising an onboarding request, all the tasks were generated automatically, right? So, for this, you can use triggers. Triggers are similar to business rules because triggers are also condition based actions. You can configure triggers for different ITSM practices like requests, releases, problems, CMDB, changes, assets, and so on. So let me open the trigger that I have configured for the onboarding request. And as I said, similar to business rules, triggers are also condition based actions, and you can choose to execute the trigger when a request is created, edited, or deleted. You can also factor in the operational hours, and whenever the conditions are matched, you can perform different functions. So, similar to business rules, you can execute a custom function. You can send out timely notifications, and the features that are unique to triggers are you can create different tasks and also perform a webhook. So to onboard my employees, I can create tasks to update the Active Directory, to provide the employees with a laptop, and to give them the correct login credentials, and so on. And using a webhook, you can interact with third party applications right from within Service Desk Plus. So whenever a major website outage issue is reported to your service desk, you can automatically create a Jira issue instantaneously. So that's how webhooks work. So, coming back, we saw how Zilker was able to ensure consistency across various ITSM practices by configuring condition based actions, by sending out contextual notifications, by performing field updates, by assigning technicians and triggering tasks, and so on. Next up, we have the technician auto assign feature, the delegations, the scheduler, and so on. So initially, we saw that Zilker was struggling to handle all their incoming tickets, right? And because their website outage issue occurred during a festive holiday season, many of the technicians were unavailable. And Zilker was also, it could not keep a track on those technicians who were available or logged in. So let's see how Zilker was able to ensure and perfect their technician assignment and prevent their tickets from hanging in the air. So right now I'm in the technician's perspective, and let me take you to the request module. So again, let's open the ticket that the end user had raised to report the website outage issue. Now by going to the history tab, I see that the technician has been assigned using the Tech Auto Assign feature. And because the technician was on leave, let me say that the ticket was assigned to Emma, and using the Tech Auto Assign feature. And because the technician was on leave, all the tasks of Emma were delegated to Fred Frank. And this is how all the automations like the Tech Auto Assign, the scheduler, the delegations, and so on, they all work in tandem to ensure that the right technician is assigned to all your incoming tickets. So let's see how Zilker was able to achieve this perfection. So under setup, you can go to automations and click on Tech Auto Assign. Technician auto assign feature helps to save a lot of time for your help desk coordinator. You can enable the tech auto assign feature right here, and the tech auto assign feature works for both incidents as well as services. And you can choose the algorithmic model according to your needs. So when you go with the round robin model, the incoming tickets would be assigned to different technicians in an equal manner without factoring in the ticket workload. When you go with the load balancing method, tickets would be assigned to all your technicians by considering their ticket workload. And you can also assign technicians using the artificial intelligence capability. We'll explore all the artificial intelligence capabilities towards the end of today's session. And moving ahead, we can execute this automation whenever a request is created, edited, or both. And you can factor in the created date and due by date to assign your technicians. You can also set exceptions for different technicians as well as requests. So let's say that you have a VIP end user who is raising either an incident or raising a service request. And the priority of those tickets would be high, right? And you would generally have expert technicians working on such tickets. So you can exclude expert technicians as well as tickets with a high priority from this automation, and you can let your expert technicians work on mission critical tasks, and you need not burden them with very common requests with very mundane and trivial tasks. Now, we saw that Zilker was struggling to keep a track on the availability of their technicians, right? So let's go to Home tab and find out how Zilker was able to solve this issue. So here you have the scheduler, the tech availability chart, and the delegations. So by going to scheduler, you can keep a track on the workload of your technicians. You can assign tasks, set reminders, and so on. And by clicking on the icon that is shown here, you can keep a tab on all your logged in technicians. And by going to the tech availability chart, here also you can keep a tab on the workload of all your technicians. So these numbers that you see here indicate the workload of the respective technicians. You can also mark the absence of technicians. So let me say that this technician is on leave. So by clicking on the white space here, I can mark the unavailability and save that particular data. So these pink spots actually represent the absence of technicians, and these red spots show that there are no delegations in place to handle the task of all these technicians if they're unavailable. You can set delegations for that. So let me open a delegation that I have already configured. So here, let me say that my technician Emma is on leave. So using delegations, I can delegate all of Emma's upcoming requests to a particular technician. I can choose to move them to an unassigned state or also go as per global configuration. And in case Emma has any upcoming approvals to handle, I can map all her approvals to individual organizational roles, or I can assign them to particular users, or I can also go as per global configuration. So let's see how you can set this global configuration. Under setup, you can go to automations and click on delegation. So you can enable the delegation by checking this box. And if you want to handle all your tickets, you can choose to move them to the unassigned state, or you can also maintain status quo. And talking about approvals, you can map approvals to individual organizational roles or again maintain status quo. And with Service Desk Plus, all the stakeholders like technicians and requesters can set up delegations in case they are unavailable. So far we have seen how technicians can arrange backup technicians for themselves, right? So let's see how the end users can do that. So right now I'm in the self-service portal, and by going to quick actions tab and clicking on delegations, you can again go to new delegations. So here I can mark the period of my absence, and I can delegate all the upcoming approvals of this end user to specific organizational roles to different users, or I can also choose to go as per the global configuration. So, coming back, we saw how Zilker was able to assign all their incoming tickets to different technicians automatically, and how they were able to use different algorithm methods, and how they were able to keep a track on the availability of technicians, set up backup approvers, backup technicians, and so on. So far we have seen all the automation capabilities that Zilker has used to manage their incoming incidents as well as onboarding requests. So the next feature that we are going to talk about is the change conflict detection. So in the earlier part of today's session, we saw that Zilker wanted to upgrade both their web servers and operating systems simultaneously. But because they could not handle multiple changes at the same time, everything went haywire. Now let's see how Zilker was able to configure specific change windows and ensure a synchronous and collision-free change process. So right now I'm in the technician view, and let me go to the change module. Now this is the change ticket that I have raised for the web server upgrade. Now, as soon as I go into the ticket workspace, I see that 8 stages are offered by Service Desk Plus to carry out your change process. So, by going to the planning stage, let me click on the schedule tab. So here I see that the change process has been frozen, and this is because my scheduled downtime has clashed with, or conflicted with rather, with the schedule freeze window. And there is also an alert on the top of the screen which says that the change process is frozen and the change would not advance further to the other stages. And by clicking on the scheduler, I can get a bird's eye view of the of the schedule change, as well as the configured freeze windows. And to give you a better perspective, and this is where you can see that the existing change process is conflicting with the freeze window, and it is not in concordance with the maintenance window. So let's see. So far, we have seen that Zilker was able to detect the detect the collision of different change processes, right? So let's see how Zilker was able to achieve all of that. So by going to the setup, you can go to automations and click on conflict detection. So under conflict detection, you have freeze windows as well as maintenance windows. So freeze windows are used to restrict different change processes to your production environment. And you can set up freeze windows on critical days, on holidays, or during the end of the financial year, and so on. And this feature would have helped Zilker a lot, right? And as you know, the website outage issue occurred during the festive holiday season, right? So Zilker could have easily configured such freeze windows. So going ahead, we can apply change windows, freeze windows to different services, sites, and during the creation of different change processes. And you can match the freeze windows to the release schedule, the downtime schedule, and also during the creation of different changes. And freeze windows are also condition-based actions. You can set the start date and the end date, and choose the required periodicity according to your organizational needs. And talking about maintenance windows, you can use maintenance windows to deploy different changes to your organization. So you can apply maintenance windows for different services, sites, and during the creation of a change. You can match your maintenance windows to the release schedule and the downtime schedule. So during the release schedule, you can deploy the changes, and during downtime schedule, you can schedule the downtime of various services. Again, like freeze windows, these are also condition based actions, and you can set the start date and the end date and choose the periodicity according to your requirements. So, coming back, we saw how Zilker was able to deploy multiple changes in a synchronous manner by configuring the freeze windows and change windows and scheduling their periodic change windows accordingly. So, next up, we have the preventive maintenance task. We saw that Zilker was struggling to maintain the health of their IT infrastructure, right? So let's see how Zilker was able to automate their preventive maintenance using Service Desk Plus. So right now I'm in the technician view, and let us go to the maintenance module. Now this is the maintenance module. This is the maintenance for maintaining their web servers. So under the details tab, I see that I can get a clear bird's eye view and in fact a detailed picture of all the parameters. So I can track their impact, their urgency, the priority. I can also have a look at all the tasks that are required to carry out this maintenance. Further, under the request tab, I can see all the requests that have been generated to execute this maintenance. And under the history tab, again, I can get the entire history of the maintenance process. So I have an idea about all the actions that have been carried out to execute this maintenance. And I can also suspend the maintenance according to my requirements. And using the calendar view, I can get an idea about when the requests were generated, and in case any requests have been scheduled for the future. So let us see how you can configure that. So you can create a preventive maintenance task template by choosing a template from this drop down list. Now because we are talking about website outage issue, let me go with the website issue template. And here you can see that all the details have been pre-populated, and you can also set a schedule for this maintenance. So I can select the required periodicity from a daily basis, a weekly, monthly, or a periodic basis, and I can choose the individual time and date, and I can pick individual days of the week. I can go with different months of the year and so on. So this is how you can control your maintenance frequency at a granular level. So, coming back, we saw how Zilker was able to set periodic maintenance tasks by creating different maintenance tasks, by catching all the variables, by scheduling them periodically, and also suspending their maintenance according to their requirements. So, next up, we have the notification rules and the closure rules. So initially, we saw that Zilker was unable to send automated updates and real-time updates to all their stakeholders, right? And also, technicians were struggling because they had to close all their ITSM practices manually. So let's see how Zilker was able to modernize their communication mechanism and also bring all their tickets to a successful closure. So right now I'm in the technician view, and under setup, you can go to notification rules which are present under automation. You can set notification rules for different ITSM practices. So, to name a few, you can set notification rules for requests, problems, changes, and so on. You can send notifications in the form of an email, SMS, or push notification. You can also create customized notifications by using the edit icon. So here you can draft a custom subject here, and you can draft your custom message here, and you can use the dollar variable to append different ticket parameters, and you can notify all your stakeholders across the key events throughout the ticket governance process. So for example, you can alert your requester whenever a technician is assigned to their ticket or when a ticket is closed and so on. And you can also alert your technicians when a ticket is assigned to them, or when a ticket that is assigned to their group has been unpicked, or when a request is cancelled and so on. And apart from notification rules, you can also use business rules. You can use triggers and the request lifecycle to send out timely notifications. And talking about closure rules, you can configure closure rules for various ITSM practices like requests, problems, changes, releases, and so on. So before the technician actually closes the ticket, you can mandate different fields. So let's say that you want your technician to fill in the resolution field. So when the technician tries to close the ticket, the application would prompt for the resolution details, and the technician would have to fill in them. And further, before your tickets are resolved, you can get the acknowledgement from your end users. And let's say that the ticket has been resolved. Let's say that the ticket has been in the resolved state for a particular time. You can automate the closure of such tickets. And also, if the tasks associated with a particular ticket are closed, you can move the ticket status to either the resolved state or the closed state. So, coming back, we saw how Zilker was able to notify and streamline the notification process of with the end users, and how Zilker's technicians were able to mandate different fields to bring all the tickets to a successful closure. Next up, we have the life cycles and the workflows. So initially, we saw that Zilker was struggling to streamline and systematize all their ITSM practices, right? So let's see how Zilker was able to structure all their ITSM practices by using graphical workflows. So right now, I'm in the technician view, and let's go to setup and go to automations and click on life cycles. You can create life cycles for requests, problems, and assets. So let me open the life cycle for the website outage issue. So as you can see, this life cycle is a visual map, and it can guide your technicians throughout the ticket governance process. So the white box that you see are the ticket statuses, and the green boxes are called transitions. These transitions will guide the ticket status right from opening the ticket to closing the ticket. And these are no code solutions, and you can simply drag and drop the statuses on the canvas just like that. And You can perform a whole bunch of actions using life cycles. So you can create tasks, you can create notifications, you can perform custom functions, and a lot more. We'll explore all the life cycles in great detail in our upcoming masterclass episode, so stay tuned for that. And talking about workflows, you can create workflows for both changes as well as releases. Now, because Zilker wants to upgrade their web server, I have created a workflow for the web server upgrade. Now, as you can see, workflows can guide your change process through different stages, and you can perform a lot of actions. So, you can send out automated approvals, you can perform field updates, you can send timely notifications, and so on. So, this helps to standardize your change process. We'll talk more about workflows in our upcoming episode. So stay tuned for the upcoming masterclass series where we'll explore both life cycles as well as change and release workflows in detail. So coming back, we saw how Zilker was able to streamline different ITSM practices by constructing visual workflows, life cycles, and performing different actions like creating tasks, by sending out notifications, by performing automated approvals, and so on. And next up, we have the AI capabilities of Zia. And right from the beginning of today's session, we saw that Zilker was overwhelmed with a lot of inefficiencies. It was unable to classify their tickets, it could not assign the tickets to the right technicians, and just now we saw that Zilker was unable to streamline any of their ITSM practices, right? So let's see how Zilker was able to tap the potential of Zia, which is Zoho's AI based assistant, to improve the efficiency of their service desk operations. So right now I'm in the technician's view, and you can access Zia by clicking on the Ask Zia icon right here. So when I click on the Ask Zia icon, I see that a lot of quick actions are available. So let me perform one of those actions. So let me say that I would like to create a request right now. And because I'm facing a website outage issue, let me say that my website is down and click on enter. Now, Zia has shown that a ticket has already been created. So let us view the details of that ticket. So yes, the request ID is 385. So let me take you back to the request module and just refresh that. And yes, as my screen loads, we see that we have the request ID 385, and the ticket has been created. So let us open the Zia chatbot again and let us perform another action. Let me say that I want to add a note, and let me enter the request ID here, and let me say that the website is under maintenance, and let me add a note there. Now, under the Conversations tab, I see that the note has been added automatically. So let me perform another action. Let me say that I would like to add a task to this request. So let me enter the request ID again, and let me add a task title to it. So let's say that we have to check the Wi-Fi issue, and we can see that Zia intimates me that the task has been created. So let's see whether that has been created. So under the task tab, the check Wi-Fi task has been created. So you can perform a lot of service desk operations right from the Zia chat console. And I can also converse directly with Zia. So let's say that I have an important meeting to address this website outage issue, but I'm unable to access my MS Teams, that is Microsoft Teams. So let me say that Microsoft Teams is down. MS Teams is not working. And here, here Zia gives me the link for the help document, so I can try troubleshooting the issue from my end. So this is how you can converse directly with Zia. And using Zia, you can also predict different ticket parameters. So let us see that in action. So let me just edit this ticket for you. So let's see how Zia is able to predict the template values. So here, Zia gives me the top three and most apt suggestions. So according to Zia, this can be a website issue. So let's try predicting the values for other parameters. So here you say when I click on the category, Zia is able to give me the relevant category. So it can be a network or an application issue or so on. Let us see whether Zia is able to predict a technician. So there, You can see that Zia is able to predict the expert technician who can handle my ticket in an effective manner. So like this, Zia can predict different ticket values, and Zia's prediction will work when you try to edit a ticket or when you convert an incident to a service and vice versa. So let's see how Zilker was able to tap the potential of Zia's AI capabilities right now. So by going to setup, let me click on Zia. So you can access the Zia chatbot via web chat, mobile chat, voice chat, and you can also enable the auto pop-up. And you can interact with Zia and you can access Zia on third-party websites by using the embed code right here. You can also manage the different quick actions that are visible on the Zia console. So just by clicking on manage, you can choose the list of quick actions that you want to access and click on update. And further, you can also configure the actions according to your needs. So let me go to the Zia developer console for that. And here you can see there are both pre-configured actions as well as you can create custom actions. So you can create a ticket, you can maximize the chat window, you can mark the unavailability of your technicians, you can add a note to a request, and further you can also create reports using Zia. So all these actions are available right out of the box, and you can also access different actions from the gallery. Let's say that you want to create your own action. So you can click on write your own action, and this will enable you to create different custom actions. Let me open one of the actions that I have configured, and you can give the action a name, and you can choose to answer it as a question or execute an operation. To execute an operation, you can use custom scripts, and those can be executed using Zia, using Deluge, and Deluge is our low code solution. And if you'd like to answer this question, you can give it as a direct answer or fetch data from the application's database. And you can also specify the other ways in which this question will be asked by the end user. And say if the action is sysadmin email, and if the end user is typing in contact sysadmin, I can give a direct answer in this box. So the answer would be support@zilker.com. And whenever the end user is raising all these requests to the Zia chat console, Zia will be able to reply to the end user and give the necessary details. And after performing all these actions, you can click on save. And by going to if you'd like to import all these actions to your Zia chatbot, don't forget to deploy the same to your production environment. And this is how all these actions would be imported to Zia chatbot. And we also saw how Zia was able to predict the parameters, right? So let us find out how that can happen. So under setup, you can go to Zia and click on artificial intelligence. So to enable the prediction, you can switch all the toggle icons right here, and you can use Zia to predict different parameters like the category, the subcategory, the item, the priority prediction. You can predict values for technicians, templates, and so on. And the prediction rate shows the accuracy of Zia. So the more and more you train Zia, the more and more Zia learns from all the data, and the better its predictions become. So you require a minimum of 100 tickets to train Zia, and this would definitely improve Zia's capabilities. So coming back, we saw how Zilker was able to use the capabilities of Zia and execute different actions, perform different service desk operations, and create a ticket, and how Zia was able to show different results, and how you can predict different ticket parameters, and how you can access Zia via different modes, and so on. So, before we wind up today's session, let's have a quick recap. We saw how Zilker was able to resolve all their incoming tickets in a swift manner by assigning the priority automatically and also setting deadlines. And for this, they used the priority matrix as well as SLAs. And how Zilker was able to perform different contextual actions and ensure consistency in their ticket handling process using business rules and triggers. And we also saw how Zilker was able to track the unavailability of technicians and how they were able to set up backup approvers and backup technicians using the tech auto assign feature, the delegations, the schedulers, and so on. And also, we saw how Zilker was able to configure specific change windows in the form of freeze windows and maintenance windows to ensure harmonious deployment of multiple changes. And we also saw how Zilker was able to maintain the health of their IT landscape by scheduling periodic maintenance operations. And we also saw how Zilker was able to modernize their communication mechanism by using notification rules, business rules, triggers, and so on. And also how they were able to conclude all their ITSM practices successfully by using closure rules. And further, we also saw how Zilker was able to systematize all their ITSM practices using graphical and visual workflows. And finally, we also saw how Zia was adept enough and how Zilker used the capabilities of Zia's artificial intelligence to perform different service desk operations in an efficient manner. If you'd like to learn more about ServiceDesk Plus, don't forget to visit our admin guide, and you can also go through our release notes, and you can also watch our product videos where you can access the previous Masterclass series episodes, and you can also interact with our industry peers where you can get the latest updates. And this is why we have a vibrant community. And you can also contact our support team on the support portal that is displayed on your screen. And you can also write to us at hello@servicedeskplus.com. We'll be happy to assist you with any information and any requirement that you have. Thank you for joining today's session, and thank you for being such a wonderful audience. And hope you enjoyed this session. And don't forget to join the next masterclass and the upcoming masterclass episode where we'll talk about life cycles and workflows in great detail. So stay tuned for more. Thank you and have a good day.